On this episode of the Whiskey Tornado, we review Rebel Distillers Collection. Welcome back to the Whiskey Tornado. I'm your host Lance, and today we are reviewing Rebel Distillers Collection, and we're going to taste it against Weller 107. Let's get into the appearance of Rebel Distillers Collection. Alright guys, so as far as appearance goes, I actually love this bottle. I love the shape of it, I love the labeling on it, the colors on it, it all looks really nice. For those of you that don't know, this is distilled and aged in Kentucky for Lux Row Distillers. This is actually Heaven Hill juice, so the same company that makes Elijah Craig. Larceny also makes this. Larceny is a wheated bourbon. This is a wheated bourbon. We'll get into the review here in a little bit. They don't taste quite the same like some people might think. The alcohol percentage on this is 56.5% and it's 113 proof. As you saw in the B-roll, this barrel was filled in 2015, so it's around 5 years old. Now, the big question with this bottle is Lux Row was just purchased by MGP. So in the future, this is going to be MGP juice and not Heaven Hill juice. So it's a big question is what is going to happen with this? Is the taste profile going to stay the same? Is it just going to be another MGP offering on the shelves and a different label? We just don't know. So I'm kind of giving away my score here, but you're probably going to want to bunker some of these. All that being said, I love the appearance. It's a 0.7. All right, so moving on to availability. This is a tough one for me to rate. I've been waiting for these to show up in Benny's, my local store in Illinois. That's a big chain, kind of like Specs is in Texas. They finally got these in. They were getting them north in Chicago, but it took a little bit for them to start getting them in here in Champaign. They finally got these in. They are store picks, so they're going to be a little bit more limited. We're going to give it a 0.3. Again, availability is one of those handicapped categories, so it's really a 0.15. So appearance and availability both add up to a 0.5. All right, now what you all came here for, let's get on to the nose. The nose on this is so nice. It is like instant red fruits, like red apples, tons of like powdery vanilla, almost like cotton candy, caramel, and there's some cherries in there. It is a beautiful wheated bourbon. We are going to give the nose a 0.6. Okay, moving on to the palate. Cheers, everybody. Oh yeah. Instant cherry. That like cotton candy comes through. Tons of barrel spice. Again, the proof on this is 113. On the label, Rebel Yell says wheated, definitely smooth. I don't know if I would call this smooth just because of the amount of proof that it has. There is a lot of barrel spice on this to me, which I love, but if you're newer to bourbon, that's gonna throw you off. It's probably gonna fight you too much. You know, it's a little bit younger. It's on that 5 years, but the cherry, cotton candy, tons of barrel spice. I think there's even some, let me take one more sip here. Really slight. You have to go searching for it, although it may stand out for some of your palates. There's that slight nuttiness. You know, Heaven Hill also produces Larceny Barrel Proof, which is a wheated bourbon, and that to me has way more of a nutty profile than this Rebel Yell does. This is really nice. I love the palate on this. For a 5 year, it is great. We're going to give it a 0.7. All right, moving on to our new category, and that is the body. And what I'm talking about here, guys, is how oily is it? how viscous, how mouth coating, what's the weight of it? Does it feel like there's weight, or is it really thin? Those are the things I'm looking for when I talk about body. And the body on this, you cannot complain. It sticks to the glass. It's oily, it's buttery, has a good weight to it in your mouth. Definitely not a bourbon you would describe as thin. It's really nice. We're gonna give the body a 0.6. It's better than average. All right, moving on to the finish. The finish on this is longer than average. You get this like enveloping fruit notes at the front of the palate on the first sip, and then in the mid palate it just explodes into this barrel spice. Lots of pepper, barrel spice, and then the back end of the palate is where I start to get a little bit of cinnamon and nuttiness, and then you start to get that hug. It's a nice, good finish. Better than average again. I'm gonna give it a 0.7. All right, moving on to value. This bottle shines in this category. It is a 0.8. I bought this bottle for $35. It's a 5+ year wheated bourbon that's 56.5% alcohol or 113 proof. Store pick, so each one's gonna be a little bit unique. This particular barrel is fantastic. I'm gonna go buy some more because our overall score comes to a 3.9. This is definitely bar worthy. At $35, considering the fact that Lux Row is not going to be Heaven Hill juice anymore, and that's going to be MGP juice going forward. This may be a collectible down the road. It may be something unique in 10 years when Rebel Yell is all MGP juice, and people may be searching for the Rebel Yell that was Heaven Hill juice back in the day. And it's just fantastic. It's a fantastic wheated bourbon. So it's a 3.9. It's right on the border of bunker some, but I would definitely bunker some of these at that cost. The juice inside's fantastic, and due to the fact that Heaven Hill is no longer going to be supplying the bourbon for this, definitely bunker some of these. All right, now let's do something a little fun. Let's compare this, A/B compare this to Weller Antique 107. This is also a wheated bourbon by Buffalo Trace. This is one of those bourbons that people chase, people love, people cannot find. People drive store owners and store managers crazy trying to find this bottle, especially here in Illinois. In Ohio, they're more readily available. Big shout out to Aaron who sent me this bottle. Otherwise, I wouldn't find it because I can't find this stuff in Illinois, but apparently it's on shelves everywhere in Ohio. So we're gonna A/B compare these. We've got a wheated bourbon at 113 proof and a wheated bourbon at 107 proof. The Rebel Yell comes in at 35. I think the MSRP on this is also 35, but on secondary, I mean, you see people pay a couple $100s for this bottle. So let's see if they're that different. I've had both of these sitting out a little bit. Nose is pretty similar. There's a little bit more fruit on the Weller Antique, a little bit more nuttiness on the Rebel. Definitely more sweetness on the Weller Antique. Let me A/B compare these. Oh, it's such a good $35 bottle. Oh, wow. Wow. Side by side, the Weller Antique, I think really shines actually. I was hoping that this would outshine it. I don't think it does. The fruit on the Weller Antique, the cherry, the cotton candy, the sweetness just like exploded in my mouth on the first sip of the Weller Antique and really kind of put this guy in its place. Let me do back and forth again one more time. Let me taste the Weller first. Oh, it's so beautiful, man. There is so much condensed cherry and caramel in Weller 107. Finish goes on. There's a little bit of ethanol there, but not too bad. It's really nice. I mean, I'm still getting a finish on the Weller 107. Let's go to the Rebel Yell. Hold up. Back and forth. These are fantastic. Wow. I think the Rebel actually drinks down to the Weller 107. Like if I were tasting these blind, I think I might think the proof on 107 was a tad higher. The Rebel is beautiful. There still is like, it's more subdued cherry, a little bit more nuttiness, not as much of an explosion of fruit flavor. So if you like fruit flavor in your bourbons, you're gonna like the 107 better. Sorry, I know it's harder to find. And if you like more of a nutty bourbon, although this is like barely nutty, side by side, the nuttiness stands out a little bit more, but on its own, it wasn't. On its own, I was still getting those like cotton candy, cherry, sweet red fruit notes. But next to Weller 107, it doesn't taste quite as fruity. Let me go back and forth one more time. Oh, see there, so much cherry. So much cherry, caramel, and vanilla. I'm sorry if you guys can hear me. I'm trying to get this all over my palate. Both of these are fantastic. Good grief. These are some of the best $35 bourbons you can find. This one you can't find. This one is a little bit more available. People aren't hunting it quite as much. Guys, if you see this on the shelf, run out and get it. Weller 107 doesn't blow it out of the water. And I know everybody wants this on their shelves, but who cares as long as it tastes good. And this Rebel Yell Distillers Collection is some fantastic bourbon. I would run out, get some, and I would even bunker some. All right, guys, hope this helps you on your bourbon journey. Hope it helps you decide what to buy and what to leave on the shelves. Talk to you guys later. Cheers.